Hey, Dad.
Hey.
Are you happy?
I'm very happy.
Why are you happy?
Because we're sailing.
We're sailing. We didn't think we were going to get to. Is that right?
That's right.
Yeah.
And we're moving very, very quickly, unfortunately in the wrong direction, but not directly toward our target.
So moving quickly in the wrong direction.
Yeah, but we are sailing.
We are sailing.
So.
Yeah, we didn't think we were going to. I just thought we could update on what our plans are. So what are our plans?
That's a good question. No. We're going to go up to Allan's Key, where the first place that we anchored when we hit the Exumas, and we're going to go through the cut there and head over to Eleuthera, and then up to Spanish Wells, and from there north to the Abacos.
Yeah, so we've kind of worked backwards with the calendar. I have to get back before April, and we had Mom look up flights and determine that the cheapest day to fly was the 29th, and then we've had to work backwards from there to see kind of how much time we have and where we can get to in that time. So part of yesterday we looked at charts and we figured out a couple different options, but a lot of that also depends on what happens with the weather, right?
Yeah, absolutely, yeah. And it looks like the weather is going to cooperate at least the next week or so. I think Saturday we're going to have a southwest wind, which would be perfect for sailing over to Eleuthera. The challenge there is there's no place to anchor with protection from a west wind. So we need to find a good anchorage, which we have found, but we'll have to go out of our way a little bit to do that. But that's all part of the process. I mean, even now, even though I said we're sailing in the wrong direction, we have a north wind and we're trying to go north. So we're sailing really well, but we're going to have to tack back towards our goal.
Yeah, let me see if I can show them that.
Yeah.
So if you look at our little chart plotter here, the pink line is where we're trying to go. Oops. And if I zoom out instead of in, you can see that eventually we want to go northeast from here. And we are not going that direction, but we're headed in enough of the right direction, right, that we can do this for a little while. We're doing 4 to 5 knots here. So we'll do this for a little bit, and it makes Dad happy. And that's always good, right?
Yeah.
So maybe in a little bit, when we stop, I'll get out the charts and kind of show walk through a little bit of our planning, our process of like looking at different places to go in case people are interested in how that gets determined.
Yeah, there are several options that show, you can probably go over, because we could sail across the southern point of Eleuthera and out onto the Sound. We're on the Bahama Banks right now. If you go on the outside of Eleuthera, then you can go around that way, but that would be a little bit longer and it would require overnight sail. This is going to be another series of day sails. So anyway, that details can be covered later. Probably.
Yes, with the chart.
With the charts.
But yeah, I just wanted to show a little bit. And so the weather's a little bit different than we've been seeing. I don't know if you can tell, but you know that the sea is not that aquamarine color right now, with the cloud cover and the wind kind of chopping it up. You get a really different feel for things.
We're getting 15, 16 knots.
Yep.
Of wind.
But it's still obviously quite beautiful, and it's nice to be moving along. So we'll check back in with more exciting plotting. there. I wanted to cut in and explain a little bit what we were talking about a minute ago about our route and how we were getting across. And to do so, I'm going to use the chart that's in front of me. So just to kind of orient you, I guess it was a couple weeks ago, we came down from Nassau. We spent a couple days up here. We came down through the Yellow Bank and came across to Allan's Key. We spent some time at Norman Key, which is where we saw the sunken drug plane. Hawksbill was where we found the settler ruins from the 1700s. And then coming down here, Cambridge and O'Brien's and Compass was where a lot of the snorkeling was. The Sea Aquarium, the Rocky Dundas, and some another sunken plane. It's a theme. And then we came down to Staniel Key. This is where the pigs were, and the settlement. And then we headed down to Black Point and Little Farmer's Key, and that's as far as we got, those small settlements there that we really enjoyed seeing. And then after staying the night at Little Farmer's, we kind of bypassed all this and came all the way back up to Hawksbill again, spent the night here. Then yesterday came up back to Allan's Key. And what we were talking about in that last video was about how to get to Eleuthera. So you can see that it's a strangely shaped island. If you were to try to go from here to here, which is eventually where we want to go, there is a lot of shoaling and a lot of coral heads, and it's generally not recommended. So your two options are to go along the west coast on the inside, or to come around the outside and go around. And so what we were talking about is that would be an overnight sail. And I haven't mentioned this, but I don't know how comfortable I am with that, with just two of us switching off and being awake on duty by yourself. So what we're gonna do tomorrow, because the winds seem favorable, is head out from Allan's Key and come across here. And then what Dad was saying was that we're going to need some protection from west wind. So you can see that none of these anchorages here are going to have any of that. But right here at Rock Sound will be protected. So we're going to stay there and then hop up to this current cut, where we might, you can also anchor here, so we might be able to stay there. And then Dad has some good memories about Dunmore Town on Harbor Island. It's got some Victorian architecture and some interesting stuff. So the idea was to come around here and check out that. And then after that, we're off this chart and we're up to the Abacos and see hopefully a few more things before crossing the Gulf Stream again and heading back into Fort Pierce, where we have a marina and a rental car reservation. So the plan is to get the boat squared away, pick up the car, and head up to Michigan so I can have some culture and weather shock at the same time. But hopefully that's helpful for those of you who want to orient yourselves. This is the journey we've been making and some of the concerns that come up when you're talking about how to get from one place to another when wind and weather are a primary factor. Wind and weather, and also, you know, these shoals and these shallow places that are difficult to see. So we want to avoid all that. So that's the story.